answer some
Guys, hello and
questions
welcome to the Liberian TV network.
as
Today
it relates
is
to
a regular
what
press
they believe
briefing.
are some
I'm
issues
Francis Kidikopa coming to you live.
concerning that situation. We know that he appeared, but then we've just learned as a government that after that appearance, he has taken flight to the High Court and has requested the court to prohibit the investigation that was commenced. It is important for you to know some of the things that were being investigated. There were allegations of payroll departing and acts of corruption resulting from salary payment affecting the supplementary payroll containing 728 names at the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs. The supplementary payroll was allegedly created outside of the framework of the Civil Service Agency, and that is according to the LACC. In their communication with Mr. McGill, they asserted that details of the allegation revealed that the supplementary payroll was created under the instruction of the former minister, and that the process was marked by irregularities amounting to payroll paddling, administrative malpractice, and act of corruption, among others. He was cited by the LACC on August the 21st. He honored the invitation. However, we've learned that he has filed a petition for an alternative writ of prohibition before the Honorable Supreme Court, among other things, to inhibit, restrain, and prohibit the LACC from proceeding with their investigations against him. His principal argument is that he was a principal assistant to the former president at the time of the alleged corruption act, and that if there were acts of corruption surrounding the payroll pattern process that the LACC investigated, those acts were committed at the behest of the former president. And according to him, since the former president is constitutionally immune from prosecution, he, as a principal assistant to the then president who acted on the instruction of the president, is immune from any kind of investigation, whatever, as long as the president cannot be investigated. He too, as principal assistant, should not be investigated. We are told that is the argument. His argument also goes to the extent to say that he acted on the orders of the president, who is constitutionally immune, and therefore he too is. We want to state that we will respect the process that has unfolded since he went to the court. We commend him for doing so. Maybe if we were taking everything to the court, the situation we experienced the other day in Sinko would never have been experienced. So we commend him for that. And that while we allow the legal process to take place as a government, we have our own thought process. And that we believe that there is no immunity for unlawful acts, especially for agents who claim to act on behalf of their principles. I mean, assuming President Waka just called me and said, go and shoot Devil's Row. I know that shooting Devil's Row and killing him is a crime. It's an act that is unlawful. Should I kill him and come back and say, I did it upon the instruction of President Waka, and therefore I should be immune from prosecution? The reasoning doesn't look okay to us. So we believe that he does not have the entitlement that he's claiming unto himself. When you are an officer or agent of the state, you are simply under obligation to obey lawful orders. When an order is unlawful, you have a legal duty to refrain because your conduct will not be protected by law. So the Ministry of Justice, the LACC and the court will be left to absorb the state of this case, and we are hoping that in the end, somebody will be held accountable. I mean, let's look at the reasoning as I lay this issue to rest. There's an accusation against you. You believe you are innocent. And the only way that can be used to establish that you are an innocent person is to allow the law to take its course. But you say, no, don't do no investigation, leave it. Because I was protected from doing what I did. In our thinking as a government, it is a kind of admission of guilt. In other words, you're saying, I did this thing, but I did it upon the instruction of this person. And sometimes as a country, we are quick to forget. You all follow the Brandon Samunka situation. So a lot of us about that, as to whether what he did was ordered by the former president, and then he was held accountable. He won an election. He should have been seated. His victory was reversed because of what he was reported to have done. Of course, some people say upon the orders of the person who was in Boston. And the same people who executed those things come back today. They want to turn the wheel around. If it suits you, it's okay. So we believe that the right thing will be done. Our team will go to the Supreme Court as requested, and the necessary arguments will be raised, and we'll see where we'll go from there. But what it tells us is that someone somewhere, guilty, afraid, does not want to be held accountable, and they say, oh, court, stop them from investigating me. We're not sure that's how it works. And as a government and as a team, we are not sure that we're allowed to work that way, but again, the court will decide, because we all should respect the court, particularly the Supreme Court. The next and maybe final issue I want to talk about is what many of you called me about over the weekend, and I said if we should have something to say about it, say at the press conference. And you all wanted to know what the government thinks about the fact that the former president wrote ECOWAS, basically complaining about different issues. We know there was an issue at the DEA and police officials are here, they're going to talk about it in a small town community. I'm sure when they come out, they will give you a clear picture as to what happened. They've said it before, but you'll hear more of that. And so, relying on that incident, former President writes, accusing police of invading or raiding his headquarters. I'm not sure that what happened. They are here to explain. Initially, some of the party officials were saying people died. I expected that you journalists would have helped them to account for the things they say. When a human being dies, the body does not turn to spirit. You will see the body. But these are all part of the strategy to make this place to look ungovernable, to spread lies and falsehood, so that it excites or incites people to do the wrong thing. Maybe if they chose that part of writing the very letter from the beginning, we would not have seen what we saw happening. That letter goes on to talk about other things, targeting people in civil service, putting them down. You want to let the CDC to disappear. You want to break the party down. The president that was elected has a huge job to do, because this country was almost non-existent in the last 6 years. To put it back together requires full attention. And no one who wants to reverse the situation we find ourselves in will be wasting their time running behind a political party. It has so much to do. So those kinds of loose, reckless allegations, they're not things that we're allowed to get passed through, because we have an obligation to ensure that the public is not misinformed. If police did not raid your compound and you say they didn't, we have an obligation to come and say you lied. If nobody died in a particular fracas and you say somebody died, we have to come and say you lied. people that you appointed in these anti-graft institutions who are doing their work, you try to portray them as agents of a group of leaders who you say want to wish something and we know they are lying. We say you're lying. But there's one other positive side about it. I think they will write. Trying to recognize an institution that they have disrespected somewhere during the last 6 years they were in office. When Liberian citizens who felt aggrieved and offended by their actions went to the very ECOWAS through some of their institutions. And they said, this is what you've done wrong, correct it. Did they ask? Was Captain Janet David as ruled by the ECOWAS court? Was Mr. Dope as ruled by the ECOWAS court?